Back in 2021, a group of crypto millionaires tried to buy a private island to build a utopian nation belonging entirely to cryptocurrency. The pitch was simple: no fiat money, no taxes, and no government. It would be a brand new society run entirely by smart contracts. Fast forward just 2 years, and not only did this grand vision completely go up in smoke, but it also left behind a trail of scammed victims. This wild story, one packed with grand illusions, bitter infighting, and international fraud, actually begins with an architect from Hong Kong. Meet James Law, an architect from Hong Kong. His biggest claim to fame in his career was taking the slums of Dubai and Mumbai and rebranding them as O-Pod tube houses. In plain English, he basically wanted to stick people inside giant sewer pipes and then pitch it as a futuristic solution to the youth housing crisis. By 2019, thanks to some wildly aggressive investments, Law, despite spending years in the architecture game, found himself teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. He was sitting on a massive stockpile of prefab homes he had designed, basically glorified shipping containers. The problem was the absurd price tag. A single modular unit cost almost as much as a regular house, meaning absolutely nobody was lining up to buy them. Desperate to offload this dead inventory, he had to come up with a plan. In 2020, armed with his design concepts, he decided to roll the dice in Dubai. It was there at an exclusive party for the ultra-wealthy that he crossed paths with an Australian guy named Dennis Troyak. Dennis was an international broker whose bread and butter was helping the rich secure new citizenships and immigrate. But this was right in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and the traditional immigration business had practically dried up. Dennis, however, had a sharp eye. He noticed that the streets of Dubai were suddenly crawling with 20-something crypto millionaires. These newly rich kids were terrified, laying low in Dubai because they were paranoid about being audited and wiped out by the tax authorities back home. The two of them realized something. Young Western tech bros and programmers had a borderline sick obsession with the idea of no government, zero taxes, and financial freedom. Dennis happened to know a tribal chief in Vanuatu, while James was sitting on a pile of sci-fi architectural blueprints. They connected the dots. If they could mash up immigration services with futuristic real estate, they could milk these crypto millionaires for an absolute fortune. Right around this time, the drop-in audio app Clubhouse was blowing up globally. Enter Olivier Fernandez, a veteran European MLM, multi-level marketing hustler. Olivier was spending his days lurking in various crypto chat rooms on Clubhouse, relentlessly shilling completely worthless meme coins. During one of these live sessions, he started preaching about how to build a libertarian utopia completely free from government oversight. As fate would have it, Dennis and James were in the exact same chat room. When they heard his pitch, their minds were absolutely blown. They instantly recognized him for what he was. A god-tier marketer, a guy who could take a hellish, deserted rock in the middle of nowhere and package it as a tropical paradise. The duo quickly arranged to meet Olivier in person. The three of them hit it off instantly. Together, they hatched a massive, audacious scam. Buy an island, start a country, and take the crypto world for a ride. The division of labor was set. Dennis was responsible for heading back to Vanuatu, securing an island from a local tribal chief for dirt cheap, and working the back channels at the immigration office to get a quota of grey market passports. James Law was tasked with masterminding the architecture and construction. Olivier's job: build a massive hype train on X and Discord. He would weaponize the crypto rich's hatred for the traditional system, dressing up a barren rock as a utopian revolution. In 2021, with the crypto bull run in full swing, Dennis used his contacts in Vanuatu to zero in on a deserted island called Lataro. The island belonged to a local tribal chief named Philip. There was just one problem. The island had absolutely zero fresh water. It was also surrounded by dense coral reefs, making it impossible for boats to dock. Basically, it was an undevelopable wasteland. Dennis approached the chief and exploited a loophole in Vanuatu law, which states land can be leased long-term but never outright sold, to rent the land for 75 years for a mere $1 million. The second the ink was dry on that lease, Olivier dropped a bombshell announcement on their official website. We have successfully acquired the sovereign property of this island. He even claimed they had dropped tens of millions of dollars to pull it off. In reality, they just hired a few locals, slapped security uniforms on them, and had them patrol the island carrying wooden sticks, proudly presenting them as Satoshi Island's National Defense Force. Next, they named the project Satoshi Island after the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin. Their marketing pitch to the world: we are building a new nation here. No more taxes, no more red tape. Everything runs on smart contracts. To cash in quickly, they immediately minted 21,000 Satoshi Island Citizenship NFTs on their website. They told buyers this was the golden ticket to a tax-free haven, promising that every single NFT could be redeemed for a plot of land on Satoshi Island. In a matter of minutes, the first batch of NFTs completely sold out. The trio raked in a cool $21 million purely from NFT sales. To make this whole nation-building charade look legit, Olivier started hosting constitutional drafting votes in their Discord community. They had people voting online on things like, should we have free healthcare? Or should we allow drone deliveries? This intense illusion of participation made a lot of these crypto elites genuinely believe they were part of a real revolution. James Law flexed every architectural muscle he had to produce an absolutely stunning promotional video for the Satoshi Island project. In the video, drones zipped between sleek modular villas. The island was covered in state-of-the-art solar-powered homes. Residents casually paid for goods and services using crypto. They even mapped out a crypto exchange headquarters, a borderless hospital, and an AI automated logistics center. The kicker? Every single 3D model in that video was literally copy-pasted from James Law's old rejected proposals back in Dubai and Hong Kong, but this entirely CGI-rendered fantasy was enough to make people buy in hook, line, and sinker. To prove this wasn't just a giant rug pull, the team spared no expense. They flew out several top-tier crypto influencers on X, guys with millions of followers, for a so-called on-site inspection. Here's the catch. Those influencers never actually set foot on Lataro, that barren rock that didn't even have a toilet. Instead, Dennis put them up in the most luxurious 5-star resort in Vanuatu's capital. The team hastily slapped together 3 shipping containers on the resort's private beach to serve as a showroom. And there were the influencers filming this fake setup, tweeting, "Bros, I made it to Satoshi Island. This place is the future. Buy the token right now." Meanwhile, the retail investors watching from behind their screens couldn't tell the difference between the actual island and a staged beach resort. Just like that, the FOMO kicked in. More and more people kept throwing money into their wallets, with over 50,000 people eventually applying for virtual citizenship. These scammers perfectly exploited Vanuatu's struggling economy and desperate need for foreign capital. By doing so, they fed the crypto whales the ultimate delusion. As long as I throw enough money at them, I can play God here. I can literally buy sovereignty. In 2022, the first batch of NFT-holding citizens finally arrived on the island, fully expecting to build their new utopian homes. Instead, on day 1, they were hit with a harsh reality check. The island had absolutely zero fresh water and no sewage system whatsoever. These multi-millionaire crypto bros were reduced to digging holes in the dirt just to go to the bathroom. Because of the dense coral reefs, cargo ships couldn't even dock. When they tried to force unload the modular homes, the containers literally tipped over and sank into the ocean. After surviving just 3 days of brutal mosquito bites and zero running water, the first settlers chartered a boat in the dead of night and fled straight back to the capital. People quickly realized the horrifying truth. The founding team hadn't done a single bit of the planned development. Satoshi Island was still just a wretched wasteland crawling with mosquitoes and venomous snakes. With construction completely paralyzed, the project quickly spiraled into a bitter internal civil war. Investors finally started smelling a rat. The promised physical construction couldn't even begin because the team never actually secured a formal commercial development permit from the Vanuatu government. According to the original plan, the $21 million raked in from land sales was supposed to be locked in a multi-sig wallet specifically dedicated to construction. But it became painfully obvious that the trio had embezzled the funds, gambling it away on whatever crypto tokens were trending at the time. In May 2022, the crypto market was hit by the epic Terra-LUNA collapse. As it turned out, a massive chunk of that $21 million had been gambled on Luna, resulting in devastating losses. But the final nail in the coffin came at the end of the year with the catastrophic collapse of the FTX exchange. The remaining construction funds were caught right in the blast zone, wiped down to absolute zero. With the money completely gone, the three founders started dragging each other on Twitter, publicly accusing one another of being moles, scammers, and thieves. To cover up the fact that the treasury was completely dry, they started pulling absurd excuses out of thin air in the official Discord. They literally told people things like, "Due to the global supply chain crisis, our toilets are currently stuck in the Suez Canal," or blamed the delays on the bureaucracy of the Vanuatu government. Believe it or not, early on, they actually intended to run this project for real. To pull it off, they bribed a Vanuatu official to issue legitimate Vanuatu passports to anyone who bought an NFT. Naturally, these crypto fanatics couldn't keep their mouths shut. They started flexing relentlessly across global social media, even dropping step-by-step tutorials on how to travel the world tax-free with an NFT. And that immediately set off alarm bells for Western governments and the IRS. The European Union stepped in and slapped Vanuatu with a brutal ultimatum. If you actually hand out passports to these crypto bros, we will strip away your country's visa-free travel privileges. Sure, a few corrupt officials might have taken some kickbacks to rubber stamp the project early on, but once this circus became an international spectacle and genuinely threatened the country's sovereignty, the highest levels of the Vanuatu government were absolutely furious. The authorities immediately issued a sweeping public statement. The Satoshi Island project was never officially approved, and not a single NFT they sold carried any legal weight for land ownership or citizenship. Because Vanuatu law strictly prohibits selling land to foreigners, the trio never actually owned the land to begin with. All they had was a 75-year lease. On top of that, they never even secured a formal commercial development permit. The Vanuatu government officially brought the hammer down. They issued direct eviction orders and bans, dispatching law enforcement to shut down all illegal surveying and whatever micro-construction was happening on the island. They flat out refused to grant visas to any of these crypto fanatics, waiving their so-called NFT passports. And because this crowd had been so obnoxiously loud online about building a tax haven, they painted a massive target on their own backs. They drew the joint, heavy-breathing attention of the US IRS and international financial watchdogs. Terrified of being audited, the very crypto whales who bought in to dodge taxes started panic selling their NFTs in droves. With the Vanuatu government's eviction order officially handed down, the trio was forced to declare the project dead in the water and make a run for it. As the mastermind behind the hype, Olivier became the ultimate punching bag for enraged Western retail investors. To dodge the heat, he nuked his social media accounts, pocketed the last remaining scraps of the funds, and vanished into thin air. James Law's dream of an epic comeback was completely shattered. Those shipping containers he desperately tried to offload, most of them were left rotting on the docks of Vanuatu because they literally couldn't be transported to the island. The dock storage fees alone snowballed into an astronomical nightmare, and his design firm officially went belly up. And Dennis? His unhinged citizenship by NFT stunt completely torched Vanuatu's relationship with the EU. In a desperate scramble to save its own skin, the Vanuatu government ripped up Dennis's business license, slapped him on a persona non grata list, and deported him outright. As for the crypto elites who bought into this nation-building dream, The NFTs they frantically scrambled to buy have plummeted in value by 99.99%. And here is the brutal kicker. Because everyone originally signed anonymous smart contracts on the blockchain, there was absolutely no physical, real-world corporate entity for them to sue. They were left holding the bag with zero legal recourse.
Hey guys, I'm the creator here, and my editor and I run this channel together. Thank you so much for watching this far. We are a brand new channel, and we really need subscribers right now to help us get into YPP and keep making videos. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. It's the biggest support you could get us. Thank you very much.